This is not your typical shop tour. I'm not going to walk around and show you all the clever things that I've done to make this my dream shop, because it isn't. I'm not going to show you a polished version of my shop and then act like I keep it that way all the time, because I don't. This is an actual snapshot of what my shop looks like in the middle of a project. And I believe a lot of you guys can relate. Now the reason I'm doing this is because, well, you have to stick around to the end to find that out. Let's get started. And this is what I call a waste of space. There is nothing here that couldn't be better somewhere else. It used to be a junk corner until I cleaned it out a year or so ago, and I felt really good about it. And then I did nothing with it. And now it's just a void where my hopes and dreams used to live. Moving on. And this is the disaster area. I'm not sure if FEMA could do anything with this at this point. The workbench was here when I got the shop. It is nothing more than a catch-all with junk storage underneath and something to lean sheet goods against. At this point, it's really useless because there's always so much junk on it that I can't get to it to use it. Did I say it too many times? Anyway, I have to take the tools off of here, take it to the workbench just to use them. I have got to do something with this thing. This is the other end of the same workbench. More junk, more garbage, more sheet goods. Moving on. This is my one decent wall in the whole shop. I built this charging station a couple of years ago and I love it. It's one of only 2 things in this shop that I'm actually proud of. I love you. It has a safety switch on the side that kills the power to the chargers and a light to let you know when power is going to them. I hid all the wires in this cubby in the back, and it has 2 drawers. One for drill bits and one for impact bit. I put a French cleat on my pocket hole jig to hang it out of the way and hug my rip cut, AccuCut, and straight edge with my cowboy. I call him Bob. Bob is my best shop friend. Sometimes we just sit and talk for hours. He tells the best jokes. The miter saw station is the first piece of shop furniture I ever built. It serves a purpose, but it leaves a lot to be desired. When I first built this, it was just the top. And then I added the drawers, the dust hood, and the sandpaper holder. Everything works, but I really need to redo this whole area. I have an idea that'll be different than anything I've ever seen. But there's other things that needs to be addressed first. This wall is really nothing. It's just some pegboard filled mostly with junk that was here when I got the shop. Pay no attention to the grave marker. This toolbox was here when I got the shop. It's mainly just got screwdrivers and pliers and some leftovers from when I used to build lamps. The grinder and the vise were also here when I got the shop. This is a Harbor Freight dust collector. It does everything and more that it should for the price. I run 2 main trunks. One goes to the miter station and table saw. The other one goes up the wall and over to the planer. This is my wife's table. My wife has not touched this table in 2 years. I tried to move it out, but she said no because she was about to start using it again. That was last year. The table remains. This table saw has been the bane of my existence for the last couple of months. Fun fact, if you break this little handle, you can't buy another one. And this little doohickey here costs $40. So when you destroy the threads trying to get the rest of the handle out, you have to re-tap the hole, buy a bolt, and 3D print a handle just to use your saw again. Because in case you didn't know, a table saw is completely worthless without a fence. But other than that, and the fact that the dust collection kind of sucks, or don't suck, either way, the saw is great. I don't have an outfeed table. I drew one up a couple of years ago, but since then it's just been hanging on the computer, waiting for me to have time to build it. But when I do, it's going to be awesome. So this planer cabinet is the other thing I'm actually proud of. It's built out of all 3/4 inch plywood with a solid red oak top finished with lacquer. It's heavy and sturdy enough to hold this 100-pound planer with no problem. Its 6 deep drawers hold everything from saw blades to PPE to mallets. I bought this mallet from 731 Woodworks, but it's made out of MDF and I'm afraid it'll break if I use it. So I just use this one that I made. And last but not least is my assembly table. This was the second piece of shop furniture that I ever built. I originally built it with no drawers and I had the saw of death mounted in it. When I got the new saw, I took the old saw out, I patched the hole poorly, and I added the drawers. And I'm glad I added the drawers because number one, it gave me a spot to put a lot of my tools and screws and things. They also added enough weight to keep the table from moving around when I'm using it. The table also works great for sanding yoga. The reason I did this is I want people to know that this is a real shop. I can only assume that a lot of you watching this has a shop that looks very similar to this. If you don't, and your shop stays perfectly spotless all the time, I don't think we can be friends. But for everyone else, I just wanted everybody to see an honest look at what my shop looks like. And while doing this, I have really realized that my shop sucks in a lot of ways, but I can do better. So I'm going to start a series. The series is going to be called Make Your Shop Suck Less. So you guys can follow along as I make improvements and I create less suck. And by the way, I know this is just a template, so Matt, if you're watching this, don't get mad, it was just a joke.